first of all, I think it's important to admit it happens to all of us. But there are three main reasons when we're talking about personal derailers, not the things external to us, but personal derailers that make us go from good to temporarily bad. Talking about being too busy to win, being too proud to see, and being too afraid to lose. So when I'm talking about being too busy to win, I kind of like equate that to a shelf. You know, when you buy a shelf from IKEA and it says you can only put 50 pounds on it, you know, you put it up, you throw out the directions, and then you start piling your books on that shelf. And you get to 50 pounds because you ignored that it only takes 50 pounds. You get to 55 pounds, you get to 60 pounds, and you see the shelf start sagging. But you ignore it, and then you get to 65 pounds with a couple more books, and then all of a sudden that shelf snaps, and you get angry, and you're like, why did that happen? It's the same with our brains. You know, our brains are amazing, amazing instruments, and it can handle so much information and so much input. The thing is, after a while, our brains are like sagging shelves, and we ignore the signs and symptoms like getting more irritable, not being able to concentrate or focus as much, really kind of getting caught in meaningless tasks like making a million to-do lists. Starts sagging and sagging and sagging, and then all of a sudden snaps, and we wonder why. We don't give ourselves the breaks we need. Being too proud to see is kind of what I was talking about before with that cognitive bias. It's not being able to step outside your own thinking and take in other people's information or other feedback or other possibilities or alternatives. And sometimes as leaders and bosses, we're just so busy and we need to make the decision that it's hard to slow down and really consider alternatives. And last but not least, being too afraid to lose. A lot of times we associate losing or failing or making a mistake with weakness when it's truthfully not. I mean, I think we can all admit some of our best insights have come from messing up or making mistakes. But when we're living in that kind of operating and being afraid to make a mistake or take a risk, we really lose out on the opportunity to do the right thing often. So those would be the three things that kind of derail us from being great bosses to temporarily bad.